Hey, what's up, players? This is Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and right now we're getting ready to have a six-pack challenge match with Potsy and Tino on the Big Podcast Show. Holla at a player.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings to you its tag team champions of the world. That's right, the Road Dogg Tino Gray. We are world champions. The badass Rob Potsy Potchak. That's right, the Potsy and Tino Show. Our theme song, as always, is brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called the Wrestling Song. It's available for 99 cents.
99 Jones.
Caught him off guard.
Jones. I was drinking my hot
on iTunes or anywhere you get your fun music from. Yeah, so Tino, we always start the show with a little topic called What's Up With You? We missed last week, so.
Yeah, we missed last week. You were rocking it out at the Ruckus party. So I think, last weekend I went to Hickory. Had a good time. Had a really good show. Came back. We missed last week. Just worked. I was supposed to play at Abbey Road and Fuquay on Friday. It was funny because it was like Wednesday night, Thursday. Nicole's like, "Are you gonna call?" I'm not calling, checking on nothing. They got to call me 'cause as soon as I called, they're like, "Oh yeah." So I'm like, "No, maybe if I don't say anything." But no, they called me Friday morning. And so I got a lot, so we didn't play that, which is cool. I got to stay home, watch Friday Night SmackDown until it watched me, and had to get up Saturday and finish it. And uh, like I said, got a cold, drinking a hot toddy right now, and that's about it. Nothing really exciting going on.
So for 2 weeks, not a lot of exciting going on except for the one party, huh?
Yep, the Hickory thing, and that's about it. I mean, that was business as usual. We had a good time there, but trying to think, just the snow had to go. So I got Nicole's car. Uh, I got to get her a new key fob, but before that, she was able just to put the car on the driver's side and she could turn it and it would unlock all the doors for her, right? And then when she got out, she just hit the button in the door and it would lock all the doors, right? That switch isn't working now. So she can unlock, when she unlocks it, only unlocks the driver's side. So she actually has to reach over and unlock the other ones. Keep that in mind because that's very important to this story. So she calls me Friday and she's like, because they got early release. And she called me. She goes, "Hey, I got a flat tire." I'm like, "Fuck." I'm like, "All right." So I go, I'm just gonna put the donut on. Well, since her little switch inside doesn't work, the doors, we can't get into the fucking trunk, the hatch. And there's no key. It's the stupidest design. There's no key, like a keyhole or a little something to. So even if I could have put her seats down, I still would have had to pull that thing up. I still wouldn't have been able to get the donut. So I had to call AAA and get it towed to the tire place. Thank God it was like a nail. They were able to patch it. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. I think it's the switch to try to figure that out, get that switch fixed. So that was excitement on Friday. What's up, Michael Turner?
What's up, Michael Turner? So was that the most eventful thing for you?
Yeah. 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 So and then Nicole flies out Friday because next Monday is Martin Luther King, and then Tuesday is the teacher work day. So she flies out Friday. She's going to New York to see her grandma. She hadn't seen her in a while. So she flies out Friday at 6. She'll be back Tuesday night like at 10. So that's about 5 days, just me and Junior here.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's nice to hear her actually getting to go see family.
Yeah, she needs it.
So you want to know what I did for the last 2 weeks?
Oh goodness. All right, yeah.
So December 30th, we thought that the final orders for Die Hard number 2 were going to be due, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the distribution company fucked it all up.
No.
So, bad news, good news situation. Bad news was they fucked it up. Good news was it gave everybody an extra week to order copies.
Right.
Right? So Monday, I'm expecting to hear the orders, and this is now January 6th. So the first night that Netflix had Raw, waiting to hear numbers, asked the publisher, and he goes, yeah, they haven't sent them yet.
The fuck?
So I'm sitting there going, fuck happened, right? So I go, hey, was there any improvement? He goes, yeah, there was some, like onesie, twosies, like here, there, whatever. Like other shops started ordering more copies because they were like, oh wow, it was the last day to order it, whatever. Today, so we're now the 13th. I still don't have those order numbers.
What's the problem?
But we're expecting that. So okay, the problem was this. You know how we did the metal covers?
Yes.
Okay. So the second issue metal cover, which is the Solo Sokoa look-alike named Huamoa,
Okay.
that I drew, right? Where he's got the handprint on his face and everything. So that cover is supposed to be offered as if your shop orders 75 copies, you get a copy of that book for free, right? But we also were offering it as if you just wanted to order one, it's $100.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the distribution company screwed that up. So it took them 2 weeks to figure it out. And we're still waiting. Now, today, 2 weeks after the initial orders were supposed to be due, which means the book is probably going to be delayed 2 weeks, but not because myself or Jay Hammond or any of the cover artists did anything wrong. We had the book in on time. So I even sent my orders in for like what I want, how many copies of the books I want and everything else. I sent all that in. And yet I'm like still waiting to hear what the final numbers are on it. Driving me nuts. Anyways, just to keep everybody abreast of what's going on with other projects, Die Hard number 3 is completely done except for the lettering. I'm sending it off to our letterist, Micah Myers, who is a award nominated letterer. So like
Michael
we're
Myers.
going with one of the top guys, Micah.
Okay.
Micah. One of the best in the industry. He's absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to be sending it off to him this week. Hopefully getting it back next week, even though it's not due for another 2 months because, well, we got to wait until the second issue comes out and everything, whatever. Dreadmud, the single issue story, my buddy Junior Bruce has been sending me artwork from, so we're going to start seeing a little bit more of that, maybe even where I start posting a bit of it on the Potsy and Tino show to let everybody know what's coming with that. So we got something coming there. And who knows, maybe another story coming up. But I wanted to let you guys know what was going on with that. I would not expect it before Valentine's Day now, unfortunately. But I'm still going to do everything I can to get the third issue out before Easter, even if it means that there's only a month between issue 2 and issue 3 based on what the release dates are. So there you have that. Because I am doing everything I can to make sure that I'm ahead so that way they can print it, publish it, do everything they want to. Mark Spears' Monsters book, doing amazing. Anybody that's been picking it up, I'm going to be honest with you. I got my comp copies. I put a couple of them on eBay. And one of them right now with a couple days left is $170.
Oh shit.
Another one is like $70. Yeah, so that's going pretty well. And one other thing I want to talk about, Tino, that doesn't really have to do with the comic books or anything else, but does have to do with regular life for those of us that have either completed contracts or are currently unemployed. If you have not gotten unemployment from the state of North Carolina currently, I want to let everybody know. Is there any way for you to like center yourself back in the like you're in the
Better.
a little bit. Like I purposely moved my camera and everything. There. See, now we actually look like we're in the same room again. But
yeah, I'm just
No, anyways. The unemployment in North Carolina, ever since Hurricane Helene, currently maxes out at $600 a week. Before Hurricane Helene and after COVID, it was $350 a week. So anybody that actually qualifies for collecting unemployment from now until they rescind the Hurricane Helene fund is eligible for up to $600 a week. Wanted to let everybody know that because I think it's really important to let them know that they're able to get like another 40% income right now.
Wow.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I applied after my contract ended, just so everybody knows. I applied after my contract ended, and it does say that I'm eligible. So now I'm just waiting to see if that starts kicking in. Every week I have to apply for at least 3 jobs on their website, and then also make sure that I, put in the information that says, did you try to get a job? Did you bullshit? Did you do this? Did you, whatever the case is, like all 8 questions or whatever it is. It's like 8 questions, but anybody that is currently out of work should consider doing that. Especially right now, because until that Helene fund is out, there's an extra $250 a week that you're eligible for. They could end that tomorrow, and it's over. And with Josh Stein coming in for Roy Cooper, it could be the first thing he stops. So get in there now. Backdate your stuff for when you got laid off or anything else, whatever the case might be, but do it now. Get that extra money because the state is giving it.
Okay.
Fair?
Fair.
Okay. Other than that, the only other thing I did was this past weekend, from Thursday of last week through today, I went to South Carolina because, and let me preface this with, last month, my mom and my sister were supposed to go visit my mom's brother in Kentucky. Now, I visited him 2 years ago when I went to that convention in Kentucky. But my mom hasn't seen her brother Jim in, 8-9 years.
Wow.
It's been a long time. And my mom's 75. And her brother Jim is older than her, right? So they were supposed to go visit last month. And my mom's best friend's husband, and when I say best friend, I mean best friend from when they were like 15 years old. So best friends for 60 years ago. Her husband passed away.
Oh.
So my mom and my sister went up to the funeral on the week that they were supposed to go to Kentucky to visit my mom's brother. So I knew I was going to be out of work. My brother-in-law sits there and says, hey, your sister and your mom are both going to Kentucky because they missed it the last time. Wouldn't you know it, that as soon as it gets announced that they're going to Kentucky this week, what happens? Kentucky gets hit with a fucking snowstorm.
Did they get stuck?
No. They pushed it back a day, so they left Saturday. They were only there Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and they came back today. But, it kind of sucks that they actually, lost an entire day.
Yeah.
So I drove down to South Carolina on Thursday to still do what I was going to, but at 9 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, I get a message that says, don't drive down here yet. Your sister and your mom might not be coming or might not be going to Kentucky. And I'm like, what the fuck? They're like, well, it's supposed to snow. And I'm like, well, it's supposed to snow here too. Because in North Carolina, it snowed. I got snow out in my front yard right now. But then my brother-in-law says, okay, your sister actually moved the flight to Saturday, exact same flight, blah, blah, blah. Come on down. Let's go get a nice dinner between, us, your mom, your dad, you, whatever. I'm like, cool. The whole idea was that I would drive down to South Carolina and help my brother-in-law, Shane, take care of my dad. For those that don't know, my dad is handicapped. And he's not just handicapped. He really can't do a lot for himself anymore.
I guess I still have memories
And when I say
of carrying him down the steps to sit by the lake. Was that Thanksgiving we did that? Yeah.
it was, if it wasn't Thanksgiving, it was July 4th.
It was something. I was
Because
there.
you
It was,
might not
it
have
was
come
July.
back.
It was July 4th. It was July 4th.
It was July 4th because you probably had to carry me into my house that night because I almost tore your door off your Jeep.
That's right. Yep.
And sorry, Tino wants to get this over with by 9:30, so I'm gonna have to cut this short. But I did want to say something funny about this.
Okay.
My dad doesn't have use of his own faculties at this point, right? So he leans off to the one side. You got to push him back up and all this other stuff, and he's still mentally mostly there. And he's frustrating because you ask him if he has to go to the bathroom and he says no. And then he just goes in his diaper.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't ever want to be in this situation, but I get where he is. He's surviving at this point. But he does this moment where he's in his diaper and we ask him, and it's just me and my brother-in-law at this point. We're taking care of him. My brother-in-law's like, I'll take care of him. You go on your trip to my mom and my sister. And I'm like, hey, I'll help. So that's why I drove down to South Carolina. So Shane, my brother-in-law Shane and I are sitting there, and we're taking care of my dad. And Shane sits there and says, why don't we go to the really nice Italian restaurant you like, Rob, because you came down. I'm like, great, I'd love to go there. So we asked my dad, did you go to the bathroom? No, I didn't. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Are you sure you didn't go? I did not go. Okay. We go all the way out to dinner. We get him dinner. We feed all three of us. We get him back in the car. We get him back to the place, and it's 9:30, so it's almost time for him to go to bed. And he goes, I have to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, all right. So I walk him into the bathroom. I'm holding him up. Get him sitting there trying to go to the bathroom. And I hate saying this because it's kind of embarrassing if my dad were, ever to watch this or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he sits there and he stands there, and I'm like, why does it smell like you went to the bathroom in your diaper, right? And he goes, because I did. And I was like, but you got to ask before we went to dinner if you did. And he's like, I know. And I'm like, and you said you didn't. And he goes, I know. And I said, did you lie? And he goes, yes, I did.
Hey.
So we're assuming that he lied to us because he wanted to go out and get that great chicken parmesan dinner, right?
Yep.
But I sit there and I go, why didn't you just tell us so that we could have changed you out and gotten you ready to go, right? And he goes, I have a tendency to lie. That's what my dad said to me. And you hear Shane in the other room just start laughing. And he goes, I'm so mad right now, but that's fucking hilarious.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's kind of what I dealt with all weekend.
If they get a new dog,
who?
Shane and Michelle, you put a dog on Facebook. I'm like, I don't recognize that dog.
No. New, no. Probably they've had her for maybe a year and a half now.
I
That's
guess I hadn't seen
Mira.
it.
So after,
Yeah.
so my sister and brother-in-law used to have two dogs. Well, actually, they had one named Felix, who was a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away while they were getting, like, right before he passed away. They got another one named Carmen.
That's the one that barks.
And then after Felix passed away, they got another one named Flynn. Okay.
Which one?
All the same kind of dog.
The racist one.
What's that?
Which one was the racist one? Was it Carmen or Flynn? Yeah.
That's Flynn. And Flynn is still racist, by the way. But he also just so Flynn is the oldest one that they've had now. He's now the oldest age. He's on medication, but the medication he's on makes him act like he's like 3, right? So he's zipping around, doing all this crazy shit, whatever. And he always wants to play. And now he's gotten to the point where when you throw him a toy, he whines while he's playing with the toy. Like he's almost upset that he's breaking the toy open. But it's hilarious. But they have a new one named Mira. And Mira is the one that I posted the TikTok video of. And Mira just
running circles.
Like they got her at a discount because she just spins and spins and spins and spins and spins. So I thought it'd be really cool to add one of those like explosion videos.
It was
spinning and spinning and spinning. It's pretty funny. So anyway, that's where everything is with all of that. Hey man, I'm just asking if you need a video editor. We do not need a video editor. Thank you very much. Maybe in the future. We do need to start collecting moments, Tino, where we know what moment and what hour and everything we actually say certain things. So that way we can clip them and put them into an entrance video where it's just us sitting there going, I fucking hate you. Oh, you're the best. Oh, blah, blah, whatever. And
talked about doing that before.
Like but
talking about clipping when we pop each other too.
Well, we asked for our friends, like Sketchy LeJoe to do it, and he stopped watching. Probably because we asked for free shit. But with that, hope everybody's having a great week. We're back next week. I'm trying to figure out what the best way to do the show is because unbeknownst to everybody, Notre Dame, my college football team, is in the national championship game, and they play Ohio State at 8:00 next Monday night. So we'll either do it. We'll do it at 8:00, and I'll just put it on TiVo for the first hour and a half or whatever, and then we'll do our show or whatever the case might be. But tonight, it's time to talk about some stuff, Tino. And I need to change this right now because I need what?
I said wrestling.
Yeah, but I need to change this to Netflix Premiere.
Oh,
Here
God.
we go. Are you
What
ready?
did you? Yeah. So, what did you think of that premiere? I thought it was good. I thought it was excellent. Some people were like, they thought it was boring. They said, all that time they only had like 4 matches. I'm like, but they built a lot of shit in that time. It went back to what it used to be, that continuity and building storylines. They didn't have a lot of wrestling matches, but they're building storylines.
So there's a couple things, and I'll try to keep this quick, but there's a lot to unpack.
Okay.
Everything was positive.
Mm-hmm.
So The Rock came out. He was a babyface rather than a heel. He talked good about Cody. Babyface, not heel.
Yep.
All the matches, the babyfaces won.
Yep.
The visual presentation was so far and away better than anything that WWE had ever done. And I'm not talking about the arena. I'm not talking about drones coming out. I'm talking about it was straight up 4K, 120 hertz. You could see every single hair on The Rock's beard that did not shave off before he went out there.
When they did that,
it was in fucking incredible.
When he came out and did that thing, the goosebumps. You saw the goosebumps. Like it was like, wow.
Now, was it the goosebumps or was it all of the shaved hair off his arm? I don't know, but either way, it was fucking incredible. Like, we have never seen the WWE broadcast that way before. And we've had tons of 4K material from the WWE. So the fact that we did not see what we used to see and we saw something brand fucking new was insane.
I was thoroughly happy
to put it in a and then to see it in a state-of-the-art arena where all those red lights going up, all that stuff that they had in that arena. The only other place that they could have done that episode and actually made me sit there and go, holy shit, would have been the Sphere in Vegas. And don't be surprised if when the ratings start to drop and the viewers, they're doing Vegas for SmackDown, WrestleMania, and Raw, right? So I would assume we're going to see something special when it comes to the Sphere. Only having 4 matches, a little disappointing. The matches, quality was great. Don't get me wrong. Only 4 matches in 3 hours, a little disappointing. Couple other things disappointing. You ready? No Gunther. The champion on that brand. They did a vignette. Not on the show. What the fuck?
The Rock took up a lot of time. I'm sure that's what it was.
The Rock definitely took up a lot of time. What's up, Helios?
And Cena. So they had to make sure they got Rock and Cena on that show.
Well, Cena needed to be branded into that because let's be honest. The reason why Cena's doing a full year on WWE to end his career is to make sure this 5-year block of Netflix gets one good year of great entertainment.
Agreed.
Like, without a doubt, there's nothing it's if you look back, the year that the WWE decided to go public with becoming a stock, they asked Stone Cold Steve Austin to stick around for another year. They're doing the same thing with John Cena, and they should. And John Cena is the type of person that sits there and goes, I'll do it because I want to do it the way that Kobe Bryant and Derek Jeter did it. And he's doing that. And I'm okay with it. 36 dates. We don't know what the matches are. We don't know when the matches are happening. We know that he's in the Royal Rumble. We're there. No, like I said, no heel won during this introduction to Raw on Netflix. And it was meant to be a feel-good moment. So that's why I feel like even The Rock didn't play the character that we expected him to be, even though he was wearing that character outfit. He looked like the final boss, but he wasn't playing the final boss in that moment. Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a question. The Rock, when he came out, Cody Rhodes was advertised for the show. And The Rock got to say all this positive stuff, trying to like blow over their feud by putting over Cody Rhodes. But then he ended it with, tell Mama Rhodes I said hello, which came across as a heel moment. But Cody is just sitting in the audience.
I don't know if it really came up as a heel moment, because when he said it, he laughed and Cody laughed. So it was kind of like wink, wink, jokey, jokey.
Well, let me ask you. Did Cody have any other possible response? Could he get mad there when The Rock is trying to be babyface in the ring? See what I mean?
Yeah, just kind of like around that whole thing they built up over the years. You know what I'm saying? Why waste time building up that storyline, building up that angle with the possibility of them meeting again, only to he's going to come back and blow smoke up Cody's ass, unless they're going to swerve again.
So here's how I think it was meant to come across. It's a brand new era. It's a brand new day. Anything that happened before January 6th, 2025 never happened. At the same time, we got NXT, and I don't want to go into NXT yet, but The Rock showed up on NXT and started talking about how he's not supposed to talk nice about Cody, right? And he says that he's 20 steps ahead, and the marks are 20 steps behind, all this stuff. There's a specific show that discussed how bad Cody's presence on Raw looked. Not going to say who it was.
Go ahead. We all know.
Just going to say that. No. Just saying what it was. Cody basically looked like, oh, I'm no better than any other of the representatives in the audience. And that is true. He looked like Braun Breaker. He looked like Bianca Belair. He didn't look like the guy who has held the company on his shoulders for 8 months.
Well, The Rock said that his thing, though. Remember, he said, I want to thank you. A couple people want to thank you. He said, that's Cody for carrying the company on his back for a year.
But who should have come out and actually given a speech, and then maybe even The Rock comes out and says, I'd like to introduce the champion who's been doing this for 8 months. Then have his music hit, have him come down the aisle, get in the ring, and actually do something. Not get in his face, maybe shake his hand, maybe do whatever. Maybe if you do want to continue the story between The Rock and Cody, you have Cody sit there and shake his hand, grab the microphone and say, I'll never forget the gift that you gave me last year. And then you're good. Everything has a reason. But they shook hands, they did the baby face mark, and they did what they were supposed to. Instead, The Rock basically got to sit there and go, I'm the baby face. Hey, Cody, nice seeing you. Let me go shake hands and kiss babies with my family. And the reason why I think this is weird, Tino, is because then Cody disappears. And then we go into Roman and Solo, right? Cody's no longer at ringside, even though he was to start the night. Where the fuck did he go?
He went in the back to wait on his.
Did he go backstage with The Rock? Because The Rock wasn't even there at that moment. The Rock went backstage again.
He went up to meet with the Usos so they come run down and do that save.
Well, if you remember correctly, if you looked at Instagram that night, The Rock was sitting there drinking Terramana with Cody, and then got in a car and started driving on a TVPG show.
Hey, all states changed on Netflix. They're not doing TVPG anymore.
Oh, they're doing
Netflix.
TVPG.
It's Netflix, baby. They're allowed to cuss now.
All right, I'm done talking about The Rock and Cody. What did you think of this match? Let's really get into it. We got about 50 minutes.
It was everything I was hoping it would be. It was everything I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be a squash, right? I like that they, even in defeat, they kept Solo strong. It wasn't a squash match. Roman didn't come back and just whip his ass for a straight, 10 minutes. It was a good give and take, and Solo, for a lot of it, had the upper hand. I like that they did that. I like that they didn't bury Solo so they can keep him strong for something else.
Question. Did it end the Bloodline storyline that's been going on for 4 years?
I'd like to say yeah, but I don't think it did.
Well, and I'll be honest, folks, I did not see SmackDown. So if there was any indication,
Solo didn't show up to SmackDown. It was just and the werewolf, Tamatanga and the werewolf running rampage, and they were like, "Yo, without Solo here to rein them in, they were just going butt wild, kicking everybody's ass." So, but it also gave my man time to shine though, because he wasn't under it. They really showcased Jacob Fatu, and I think they needed that.
We
I think that might
split.
Okay.
So we can get back to that. Obviously, this was before. Let's be honest. Before WWE signed the Netflix deal that was worth $5 billion, this was one of the main attractions for WrestleMania this year. It was. And the 45-minute long match to start Netflix on Raw shows why this was. And it was Tribal Combat. It's only the third Tribal Combat match we've ever seen. And it lived up to the hype. But, Tino, let me ask you. When the match ended, and I didn't get to say this 2 weeks ago because we didn't do a show. A week before that, Paul Heyman came out and gave a promo to sit there and talk about this Tribal Combat match, right? Sorry, you locked up. And when he did it, he went, and Roman Reigns is going to get the 1, the 2, the 3. And he did it just like The Rock did it at Survivor Series.
Okay.
And it immediately made me think Paul Heyman is turning on Roman Reigns at the Netflix Raw. Because he did it like The Rock did it, and he's wearing the little red swash in his thing. Just like at Survivor Series, he was wearing the red shirt with the black, and he wasn't wearing a full suit. He looked like Solo Sikoa.
Yeah.
I was like, Paul Heyman is joining The Rock. And then The Rock came down. And The Rock started walking down to the ring. And during that time, I'm sitting there, I'm smacking Mr. Helios in the arm because he's sitting right next to me. And I'm like, we're getting ready to see something big. And then The Rock just puts the Ula Fala on Roman Reigns.
I think they're trying to pay it up because you remember
then
when they were
the corner. Then backs off to the corner. And you know what I thought when I saw that? I thought, this is the 2015 Royal Rumble all over again.
That's what I was about to say. They're trying to remember when he tried to come out and raise Roman's hand, and the fans weren't having it. This is his second attempt for him to, I don't know if he even passed the torch. Is that what they're trying to do? Pass the torch and say, okay, give him the rub?
I don't know if that's the case. I think that it still has to do with they were still trying to get The Rock over as a babyface for the night. I think that's what they were trying to do. Because he even did the whole thing of holding the ropes up at the end. And I was waiting. When Roman sat there, held up his arm, held up the finger, did the Ula Fala, did all that, and then did 1, 2, 3. He didn't do all 4 corners, because if he did all 4 sides, The Rock would have had to drop with the rock bottom, right? You know what I mean? Like when there's the one guy in the ring just waiting in the corner, kind of like, Mark Henry in the salmon outfit, or AJ Styles in the powder blue. Like, someone's got to sit there and go heel. But because it's the very first night on Netflix, they didn't do it. That's the only reason why I think they didn't do it there.
Okay.
Ready to move on a little bit?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, let's do this one first.
So when Hogan came out, right? I was interested to see, especially them being in California, what kind of reaction he was going to get, right? Real American hit. And it sounded like they were cheering when that music stopped and they were booing the shit out of him. I was like, well, and he didn't really, he was trying to push that beer and he's trying to do the whole 80s. Well, let me tell you something, brother. And he had Jimmy Hart back there waving the American flag. I'm like, Hogan has done, and we don't talk politics. Hogan has done too much shit and was in that spotlight a little too much. And I think he pissed people off a little too much. And they weren't feeling Hogan last night, that Monday night.
Interestingly enough, though, another staunch Republican was heavily cheered that night.
But and we don't talk about politics, he didn't threaten to body slam a woman. You know what I'm saying? He didn't go as crazy as Hogan did,
you know
right?
how Hogan, I'm going to tell you, I think I know how Hogan could have saved this moment. Are you ready?
I don't know if he could have saved this moment.
Brother, let me go ahead and tell you something. Hulk Hogan could have sat there and said straight up,
Real American beer is out there, brother, and I appreciate the booze.
They would have booed his
And
ass.
yes, that was a horrible
So
joke.
fucking corny. But yeah, just the heat.
But
It was
you
just
know what?
amazing.
You know what? He could have said, he said, I respect the booze, the booze, the booze. And then all of a sudden, like Michael, like you could have expected Pat McAfee to sit there and say something along the lines of Hulk Hogan trying to get the band back together on the booze. But anyway, you also saw the Pat McAfee thing, right? Where he had a guy dressed up as Hulk Hogan sitting there trying to explain all of that. I do find it interesting, specifically that the spin on all of it is to attempt to get, even the negativity is, oh, well, California is a liberal state, and Hulk Hogan coming out with Jimmy Hart was going to be a very liberal moment. And then the internet got a hold of that and they were like, fuck you, here's the deal. The Undertaker says my own personal political views are my own. I don't talk about them because I have fans of all walks of life. And Hogan's sitting there at the same time doing all of his shit, and you're like, the only
That's
person I
why.
felt bad for there was Jimmy Hart.
Yep. Yep. Poor Jimmy.
Lizard skin Jimmy Hart. That's the only person I feel bad for.
And that's the thing, like you said, Hogan. Undertaker did it right. He's like, I got fans all over, so I'm not really going to say. Hogan went out and acted a fool, and of course we know he lies. I think they were talking about all the lies that Hogan told, and like he
Oh my
was
god.
Elvis sent him flowers because he was Elvis's favorite wrestler, and they're like he didn't even get to Memphis until a year after Elvis died. I'm like, what the hell? So yeah, and Megadeth. What was it?
Yeah, dude.
Lars. Who's
He was
Lars?
supposed
Lars
to be the.
Metallica.
He, yeah, he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be the bassist for Metallica.
I'm like, are you fucking what? So I
Now
didn't.
the bassist of Metallica thing may actually have some traction because James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich have not said no. But remember, they also said that the guy from Primus, Les Claypool, I think,
Mhm.
Les Claypool, was too good to be in Metallica.
Oh damn.
They said that, and that was on the Behind the Music. Like when they were trying to find a new bassist, they were like, "He's too good."
That's funny.
Not
So,
Hulk
yeah.
Hogan, Les Claypool.
Yeah. So yeah, Hogan showed his ass. So all right. You said what?
Let's talk about some of the.
Nothing.
Let's talk about the other matches from the night. We
You wanted
had
to talk.
Liv Morgan
You
versus Rhea Ripley.
that ended like I wanted it to, like I figured it would. I was saying you wanted to say something about Steph and
You
Punk
were saying
before.
something else. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying
Well, that was the
you
main
said
event, so I won't go
okay.
last.
What did you think about the whole um when speaking of Undertaker when he came down after Rhea's match on the motorcycle and they did that whole is that passing the torch or was that just they're trying to get all the stars, to come out and he just happened to be like they're all dark, and heavy metal and all that stuff. That's why they matched him together. Or what do you think of that? Why do you think they would have brought him out for her specifically?
So there was apparently someone else that was supposed to come out for that, and they used the Undertaker instead. And I can't remember who they said it was supposed to be. So if anybody remembers or saw anything listed online of who that was supposed to be, please post it in the comments. I almost think it was it was supposed to be Becky Lynch's moment coming back is what they had said, but Becky Lynch was not backstage.
Okay.
So The Undertaker was backstage, so they used him to sit there and put her over rather than, and this is where I think it was an all babyface show. They didn't want Becky Lynch sitting there and going, "I want your title," because then all of a sudden Becky Lynch looks like a heel.
Yeah.
And when Becky Lynch comes back, she's not going to get booed, right?
No.
So it would have been a bad moment there. But having The Undertaker come out and actually give the girl that looks like she is ready for Sturgis a moment,
Yeah.
I think that that's perfectly all right. She did miss the arm up. She missed it just by a little, but it looked okay.
Because I think they called it on the fly.
Michael Turner is saying she's a top star now in the women's division. I absolutely and she's been a top star in the women's division for a long time. That there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing against that. Let's talk about what was it? Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre was the other match on the card. And I found it really interesting because on our Facebook group, somebody sat there and said they were upset that Drew McIntyre didn't get the win and that it's really been a while since Drew McIntyre got wins in this situation. And I'm thinking to myself, he just beat Sami Zayn on one of the other programs. He just beat someone on SmackDown. Like, in this situation, now granted, again, all the baby faces won night one. Jey Uso absolutely, beyond a shadow of a fucking doubt, needed a win against a top superstar. So him getting the win totally made sense to me, Tino. How did you feel?
Yeah, I was okay with it.
You're okay with it?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to that?
Did he do a roll up? How did he win? I can't remember what he did to get. He snuck a win out, didn't he? I can't remember how he won. Like I said,
I think he ducked under the one, and then he gave a super kick and got the win. But it was because I think Drew was distracted. I think it was because Drew was distracted. But either way, like the commentary team of Michael Cole and Pat McAfee made it sound like it was absolutely like necessary and exciting that.
Yep. Michael agrees with me. One was a roll up. I believe it was a roll up.
I think you're right. I think it was a roll up, but it still was like an exciting moment.
Yeah.
Whereas normally the roll up is like, wait, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So,
all right.
So those are the two matches that were not on my list of matches that I wanted to put on here. So here is
what you got to say about that? What you got to say about that?
Well, once again, CM Punk being the top babyface in the match went over.
So was Seth a heel here?
No, this was a baby versus baby match. And I think that's why it didn't hurt anybody. I did find it interesting that all over the internet, they showed that the end of the match was the same end as Punk versus Moxley from AEW, where he hit the go to sleep. He falls down. Seth falls over him, gets picked up, go to sleep. Now, what I thought was interesting about the match was that Seth Rollins ended up giving 2 go to sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was surprising because it is a very protected finishing move, right?
Well, I mean, you got to think about this. It's not the first time they've done that. Remember, the Rock and Stone Cold, they gave each other their finishes in that WrestleMania match. So I think that they were trying, while it is protected, I think that if they do it sparingly, like matches like this, it's okay. I wouldn't want to see Seth now all of a sudden going to do go to sleeps in other matches. But this one, I was cool with it.
Well, no. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I absolutely agree with exactly what you said. I think that it's okay for specific specific long-term storytelling to sit there and utilize opposite finishing moves, whatever. I'm okay with that. That wasn't what I was trying to say.
Okay.
I found that it was interesting that Punk got hit with his own finishing move twice and was able to kick out both times. Because a lot of times when someone gets hit with their own finishing move multiple times, they can't kick out the second time. In here, it also, there's so, like I said, so much to unpack. But what you really have to look at and see here is that this was a mentor CM Punk versus mentee Seth Rollins match, where the mentee was very upset with everything leading up to the match of what this guy did, right?
Right.
So his whole leaving, talking shit, trying to get people to leave the company. I don't know if you listened to the Seth Rollins, Chris Van Vliet interview. Fucking incredible, by the way. Like, so kayfabe and everything else. And I listened to it on my way home from South Carolina to here. But like, he talked about how he was friends with CM Punk, going through everything, like asking CM Punk for all his advice, all the way until CM Punk fucking left the company, and then CM Punk wrote him off. Said, I'm not talking to him anymore, not sending him any text messages, not answering his questions, not doing anything. And in fact, Seth Rollins was very complimentary of when he decided to come back at AEW, when he came back at, and actually wrestled. And he's like, it's kind of like it was going to be like a little send off, and he was going to end his career there, and he was going to do this. And then all of a sudden, dude comes back at Survivor Series on Randy Orton's night. And when he comes back on Randy Orton's night, it's after 10 guys put this massive match together.
Yep.
Worked their asses off. And then he just walks out in a white t-shirt and a pair of jeans, and the place erupts like nothing that ever happened before it deserved any of that applause.
Yeah,
and
he
he's
stole
not wrong.
He stole their thunder. That was fucked up. That was fucked up.
And you and I have talked about it. Like Seth apparently was the one guy that was informed about it. Said he wasn't on this show. That's fine. But he's not wrong, And then to hear that Punk wrote everybody off, and we'd heard some of this. You and I had talked about it in the past about how like Punk and Kofi Kingston were really close, and suddenly they weren't. Like it's hard. And apparently what Seth Rollins was saying was that Punk wanted a bunch of people to sit there and just say, I quit. But they weren't making the money that Punk was making.
Yeah.
So they couldn't just say, I quit. So this whole, and by the way, I think this is going to still go to WrestleMania. I think this first match, sure, CM Punk wins, but I think we're going to get more.
Yeah.
And it's going to lead to WrestleMania. And we're going to get a night 1 or night 2 main event of Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. And the only way that we don't is if the World Championship matches go on last. And I got a question about that too for you. I didn't make it one of the things, but it is a Netflix on Raw thing. John Cena, you talked about this. John Cena said, I need a ticket to have a chance to break Ric Flair's record.
Yeah.
And if you read all the pundit stuff online, it all says it's going to be John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is nobody saying it's going to be John Cena versus Gunther?
That's what I would think it would be. Because Cody Rhodes still wrapped up with I was thinking it was going to be him and Randy or him and Kevin still. And I thought that Cena, when he won the Royal Rumble, would be going for Gunther. So
Well, think about it this way. One of the stories is going to get cleaned up at Royal Rumble, right? So
Yes.
it's probably going to be Cody versus Kevin Owens. Like they're going to have a final battle at that
At WrestleMania.
You know, that they've already kind of talked. No. But at
the Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
Okay, so you think WrestleMania
Right.
could be Randy?
Well, I think it could be whoever wins the Royal Rumble versus Cody Rhodes.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. I would think wouldn't.
But then there's Elimination Chamber.
I'm thinking. I thought it was going to be.
You locked up.
I thought it would be Cody. Cody and John and Gunther. But then there's like Brock's coming back. Remember they teased Brock and Gunther. So I don't know.
Have they teased Brock? I don't really think that they have. I think that considering every time they want to,
he's on 2K25.
Is he?
And if they were still not dealing with him, he wouldn't be on there.
Interesting. You might be right. I don't know. It's tough to say, man. Like, but the John Cena versus Gunther match sounds like a better match to me than John Cena versus Cody.
Agreed.
So, all right, let's move on to other shows.
Yeah, because it's winding down.
Yeah, I know. We gotta try to sit here and make something happen here. So NXT New Year's Evil happened last week.
Yes,
and
I'm so happy.
What a hell of a show! By the way, the best ratings an NXT show has done in 5 years.
Are you serious? So what do you think that is? You think because of the matches? You think because The Rock was there? Do you think what he?
I want to say it's because of the matches, but I think we know where that extra 200,000 viewers came from.
Because he announced it before
However,
he left Raw.
Well, and if you listen to his speech during it, he actually said, I let them know weeks ago that I was going to be here tonight, which meant, hey, I let the board of directors and everybody know I was going to be at NXT. And I love the fact that he said, NXT is where I want. Netflix is where I need to be. Like they're telling me I need to show up on Netflix, but where I want to be is the show where the next generation is coming from. And I love that he actually used the words Flex Cabana during that promo. I did not like that he used the whole we're mad that I'm not talking about or I'm being nice to cut. Like he wasted 4 minutes of his promo time because the internet got mad that he didn't properly give Cody his flowers. Gave Cody flowers, didn't give them properly. Broke the story, and in wrestling, you gotta figure out a way to make the story. So, anyways, however, the matches, Julia versus Roxanne Perez, thoughts?
Phenomenal. It was better than their first meet because didn't she beat her before, right? They met before. I think that this highlighted the fact that yes, Roxanne is ready to go to the main roster. She's done all she can do
Without a
down here
doubt.
at NXT. So yeah, so Royal Rumble, I see her coming up. I also see next in line. I got a feeling next in line, while we still have Julie as a champion, I think Cora Jade's next.
Dude, I think I sent you a video of her where she's just holding her boob, and one of the other ladies hits her and does all this other stuff, and it actually looked like one of the baby faces was hitting Cora Jade, and then Stephanie McCare do it, and it was all like after the fact. That division is so well set up.
It's that.
That lost you, we lost me. Are you there? You look frozen. Say something. Tino? Tino?
Hello? You there?
You there?
Yeah, I'm there now.
I'm here. Are you there?
Yeah, my screen had gone with like it blacked out and it was like the circles were buffering.
Everything went like that. And it literally said it after we gained followers. But what I was saying was that this women's division in NXT is so well set up for the future, it's not even funny.
Yes. Yes.
Like if you watch the first half of NXT New Year's Eve last week, there were 12 women that got to be shown off in high quality matches the entire time. And then the last half of the show, you had The Rock sit there and make fun of Ethan Page. And then you had the main event, which
I love too. I love the fact
there's only one thing
that
to say.
so in the beginning, but in the beginning of the show, when Eddie Thorpe was laying on the ground, and then she came up, she goes, "Oh, I know what this is. Oh, you're not gonna fool me again." And Owen Femi came out and said, "Yeah, I jumped him." I said, "Holy shit!" Owen Femi said, "Yeah, I did. I took him out." And so it's going.
He said, "Yeah, I did it. Absolutely." He said, "I did it."
That was hilarious. Great. It was great.
But then that son of a bitch backed everything up. Like, did you think Eddie Thorpe was going to win that match by the end?
No,
you did, didn't you?
No,
you didn't.
I knew Oba was. I knew Oba was going over.
Sneak a victory. You didn't think he was going to sneak a victory.
They hadn't pushed him.
And you didn't think that Trick was going to win.
No, because Trick's going at the main roster. Remember, I told you, Trick lost the last time, won the last time because wasn't Oba it was Oba, Ethan, and Trick, and Trick went and pulled off the last time. I knew he wasn't going to pull off 2 triple threats back to back. And again, he's another one. He's another one. He's another one who's ready for prime time. So he's going up too.
I mean, it's interesting, and they push themselves to a different spot, man. Like the way that match ended, I love that Eddie Thorpe actually got involved. I wonder if that means Eddie Thorpe is now going to be a baby face I thought that with The Rock's involvement, that The Rock was going to get involved with Eddie Thorpe, and not necessarily in a match or anything else, but I thought he was going to sit there and say, shut your mouth and know your role.
Keep your hands off my daughter.
And instead, we got Ethan Page getting that moment. But we have a new NXT Women's Champion, a new NXT Men's Champion, and we also have a new NXT Women's #1 contender for the North American Championship, Stephanie Becerra.
Mm-hmm.
So we are now set up for the future of NXT. And it's bright.
Yeah.
Like the men's division, I don't think the men's division is nearly as set up as the women's, but the women's division is bright, bro.
Yeah.
So all right.
SmackDown. The only thing I really want to say, because we missed it, because
No.
Dude, we got 15 minutes. All right. Dynamite and Collision.
All right.
What you want?
You watched Collision. I want to know about this match right here.
Harley held her own, and there's a couple of times where she had Mariah beat, and she's going to beat, but Mariah came out and pulled it off. And the whole premise of this match was, I guess Mariah's trying to have a warm up for her next title. I forget who she's fighting for the title, and she told Harley this isn't going to be a title match, and Harley went out there and said okay, and fucking put on a show. I mean, and it made her look strong. So I think they did that to make her look strong, because she's got this whole comedy bit going on. But I think they also wanted to show that she can go as well, and they proved that here. She looked really strong in this match. So I think she could be a contender if it ever came back around for the women's title.
I think so too. I also think that she could easily beat Mercedes Moné for the secondary title. But sure. What about this? Here we go.
I don't even talk about it because it pisses me off. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago when Hobbs came back and he lost that match to take a shitter, right? And then so he won this chance to face Moxley for the title, but why? We know that he's not going to be the one to take that belt off of Moxley. So again, it's a waste of Hobbs' time. Now, are they trying to show that Hobbs could be in the main event? They could have done this differently instead of putting him up, knowing they're not going to put that belt on him.
All right, what about this?
Just got a chance to, I think Ospreay and Kenny, they said it best on the commentary. They got a common enemy, so I think that they will have a strenuous partnership. So they will work together against the Don Callis family. But I think it will come back around to at least one more Kenny Ospreay match.
I think this might actually lead to the two of them actually winning the AEW Tag Team Championships.
Oh, don't do that storyline. It's a played out storyline.
All right. Yes, it is played out. Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I like where this started, by the way. I think that this definitely has feedback from both Ospreay and Kenny, whereas most AEW stuff does not have wrestler input.
I did like the Kenny. I'm sorry.
No.
Also, because I did like Kenny came back. I think he's coming back as a face, because he did say it's not about money, it's not about power. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering what all that's going to mean. So is he EVP or not? A and B.
I think. Okay. My thoughts, pretty simply, are he wants to know what's going on with Jon Moxley, and at some point, he's coming back to get that World Championship belt from Moxley just to save it from him. And so far, the only person that I think actually has the ability to do it, if played correctly, is Kenny Omega.
So you think he's the one that's going to take that
In
belt from Moxley?
He's the only one that can play it correctly. I'm not saying he can even do it, but I'm saying that he's the one that has the ability to likely get somewhere near that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, with Tony Khan, you never know. All right, here we go. SmackDown. I did not watch it. I unfortunately did not. But you said you wanted to talk about this first.
That happened the week before. Did you see when she
Correct.
cashed in? Did you watch it when she cashed in?
I did.
What did you think? Did you think
I
that was
did.
going to? Did you think that was going to happen that night? And did you think it was going to happen the way it did? It came out of nowhere when she first
Did
came
I
down.
think it was going to happen the way it does? All right. Which question do you want me to answer first?
Oh, did you think it was
Because
going to happen?
here's how I.
Go ahead.
Did I think it was going to happen? Yes. Yes, I did.
That night.
I did. And here's why.
Okay.
That week seemed to be a brand new era in WWE.
Mm.
So as that was happening, I absolutely sat there and said, Tiffany Stratton is cashing in and she's going to win the title. I did think that. At the same time, did I think that it was going to happen where she actually helps Nia Jax win her match and then takes Nia Jax's title? No, I did not. That was very interesting booking. And if you looked at everything that Tiffany Stratton did in that moment, Tiffany Stratton won the match against Nia Jax to become the world champion. But then she also, before that, beat the shit out of all of the baby faces. So where does that put Tiffany Stratton in the baby face to heel ratio?
Well, and again, that leads to this week because you said you didn't see this week. She came out,
Correct, I did
Tiffany's
not.
time, and she was like, they were interviewing her, and they were like, they thought that people were saying that Nia was using, and she stopped. She was, no, she said that she knew. She said just because she said Nia thinks because I'm a blonde, I'm dumb. I let Nia think that she was, in control or whatever. And so she pretty much said she laid a trap. She let Nia think that she could push her around and bully her and think that she was a dumb blonde, and then she proved her wrong. The fans were cheering her.
So
The
that
promo came off kind of cocky.
Yeah. You stop there. We
I'm not saying
got a
promo.
little.
No, I'm saying the promo
disconnect.
came off kind of cocky, so I'm not sure if she's a cocky face a la The Rock, or is she still heel? I don't know.
So, truth is that the crowd wants to cheer her.
Yes.
So no matter what they've got planned within the next 4 weeks, she is absolutely going to be babyface. And by having a return match against Nia Jax is never going to be babyface currently. Can they make her one? Yes, if they try to make her a sympathetic babyface over time, as someone who sits there and says, I know that I am not as good as I should be. But Tiffany is going to be a babyface over Nia Jax no matter what.
Yeah.
The question is going to be, who is her next opponent? And do they keep her being babyface because of her next opponent?
They did a fatal four-way to decide her number one contender. It was Naomi, It was Naomi, Bailey, Bianca, and fuck, you know, and Nia. Bailey won. Bailey is the number one contender.
So
Let
four
me double
baby
check.
faces. Well,
Let me,
three baby faces and Nia Jax.
yeah, let me double check that. I think that's how that because I got it pulled up. Um,
No, it's okay.
damn it, because they came out and
Same thing they
interrupted.
did with Loki, but the crowd wanted to cheer. Michael, I think you're right for the most part. I definitely think that when we take everything into account, Tiffany Stratton is a different beast. Like they have brought her up as a heel the entire time, both in NXT and SmackDown, and yet that crowd wants to cheer her. And the only thing I can think, Tino, and tell me if I'm wrong, the only thing I can think is that she is that good and that athletic and that good on the mic that it is so hard to go against her that you literally buy in and go, that's my girl.
Yes.
Am I
Another,
wrong? That's right,
no,
right?
you're absolutely correct. We were talking about the bloodline earlier, and I was saying how the two were running roughshod. I forgot to mention that we're on SmackDown now. They were backstage raising hell, and security was trying to get them to leave, and they got them at the back door, and they couldn't quite get them out. Tama Tonga walked out. Jacob
LA Knight.
Fatu still, Jacob Fatu still talking
LA
shit.
Knight.
Came out of nowhere, and pushed him out, and came, and it's like, yeah, no, I got rid of him. Had his rematch for the United States title. Had Shinsuke beat, who comes back in through the crowd to whoop his ass. Tonga Loa, no Tamatonga, Jacob Fatu, and they beat his ass down. And then
I
Cody
did
and
see
Jimmy,
video.
Cody and Jimmy came to his rescue.
So after a big night of babyface wins on Netflix, that included Cody Rhodes taking out Kevin Owens, which, by the way, the Kevin Owens appearance did not make as much sense as I think they hoped it would, by him giving Roman a stunner and then telling Solo Sikoa, get him. We obviously have more Cody versus Kevin Owens coming up. But then SmackDown apparently went right back to our regular broadcast programming. Am I right?
Yeah, because the wise man came out and said that obviously Roman wants his belt back, so Roman is in the Royal Rumble.
Roman's in the Rumble?
Yep. So right now the only two names in the Rumble are Roman and Cena.
Yeah. And by the way, I would not anticipate hearing a lot of expected names. You might hear Seth Rollins, you might hear Punk, you might hear Drew McIntyre. You'll hear all the big names. I would anticipate by the time the Rumble rolls around, you've got about 15 of the 30 actual names announced. Surprisingly, we haven't seen a lot of the WWE TNA mashup thing going on. So while we thought we might see Joe Hendry in the Rumble early, I don't know if we will now.
Well, it depends. Like I know what's her name's contract is up. The octopus's wife. Is
Tajiri?
he? No, octopus. He used to be partners with Jay Lethal.
Josh
Uh,
Alexander?
no, the short black dude that was he came out with the octopus mask, and he was partners with Jay Lethal. Jordan Grace's husband. Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace is what you call it, contracts up. So I wouldn't be surprised to see her in a Rumble and sign with WWE.
Well, Jordan Grace, I think you're right. I think that one's pretty fair. I'm not sure who else to anticipate with that. So,
That's gonna drive me.
normally we see at least one TNA champion. It's very and one Nick Nemeth is actually a host on a radio show.
Jonathan Gresham.
So
Sorry,
I
that Jonathan Gresham.
correct.
Excellent. Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily be against Jonathan Gresham or Nick Nemeth. Be really interesting how they would introduce Nick Nemeth because he obviously was Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
And don't be surprised to see like a top Japanese superstar, considering the WWE has been sending some superstars over to Japan. More than likely to get someone to sign up to be a part of WWE, but we don't know. Also, one last thing, Tino. I don't have this listed on here. Have you seen what's been going on Dynamite and Collision when it comes to one Malachi Black?
He's going to be Alistair. He's coming back to WWE. And it got so
Is that
interesting that what I'm thinking he's coming back to WWE. And it got interesting because if you pay close attention, I think it was on Collision when Adam Copeland walked up to Brody King and Julia Hart. He looked at Brody. He said, "Take the reins," as if Brody King should be the next leader of the House of Black.
well, if you also paid attention during Dynamite, Will Ospreay sat there and told Buddy Matthews,
Pushed him. Yep.
you don't need Malachi Black. You should do your own thing.
So I think they're ready.
So that's leading everybody to believe that. And for those out there, rumor is that Malachi Black's contract is up as of February of 2025. His wife obviously works for the WWE as part of the LWO.
Mm-hmm.
So where would we think that he would end up?
Let's go back to where his wife is.
So, all right. That's all I got, Tino.
I'd like to see Buddy Matthews come back too, since he's got Rhea there. So,
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, based on the matches that he's actually done recently, I hope he wins the AEW World Championship. It's not going to happen, but he's putting on better matches than the AEW World Champion.
yeah. All right. That's all I got.
Why don't you tell everybody?
You can reach me on Blue Sky. You can reach me on Insta, Tino. I am on Snapchat, Tino. TikTok is Tino R Great Music. You can catch us on the Twitter, on X, Potsy and Tino, Facebook, we're the Potsy and Tino Show. We're here each and every week, right here on the Potsy and Pan Network. Please give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and buy our shit. Thanks to Adam's House Clap. Thanks to Adam's House Cats for the wrestling song. You can get it on iTunes for 99 cents, 99 Jones. Yeah, we want the House Clats. That's what I said, damn it. The Clats. Because I'm looking at it, it says 2C, it says Class Day. So that's why I was like, the House Clats. Yeah, tell them where you are, Rob. The cold medicine's got me just out there, dude. I'm sorry.
It's all right. You can follow me on all of the social medias at Rob Potsy Pochak. Also on Instagram at Rob Pochak, on YouTube at Rob Pochak, and I think on Twitter at Pochak. So, folks, that's how you can reach us. We had a blast. If there's any reason why we will not be here next week,
Rob
I
wants to
will
watch
post
Notre
it on the Facebook page.
Rob
What?
wants to watch Notre Dame. Rob wants to watch Notre Dame. I can't blame you. His team finally made it to the championship.
First time since 1988 that we really have a chance to win the national championship. Now,
But
we
we
could
may
get
not be
blown
here.
out, but
We may not be here, folks. Is
What?
what he's saying.
most likely we'll do an hour next week at 8 o'clock. As long as Tino can be here at 8 o'clock. With that said, thanks, everybody. We're back. We're almost always here. And yeah, with that, here's what we got. If it pulls up, it's not pulling up.
It just did. And then you.
Potsy and Tino.
For the Potsy and Tino show.
Thanks for watching.